This is the KRMG Afternoon News with Skylar Cooper.
It's time for the BA Breakdown here on the KRMG Afternoon News. We're joined live by Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon. Mr. Spurgeon, how are you on this rainy afternoon?
Skylar, I'm doing great. I've been spending most of the day today working on my budget message for the upcoming budget presentation next month to council, but I was glad to take a break and hopefully spend a few minutes with you to talk about all the great things that are happening out here.
Well, sure. I had a question. I saw recently there was an update on something you and I had talked about. We've talked about this a handful of times over the last year or two, I think, because there's a long planning process, I understand, that goes into bond packages for a city, and you're getting ready for one next year that will go to the voters. And I know the council helps narrow what may be proposed, and I saw that councilors are given what's called a bond book. And correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is it's a giant list of options for what might go in there. Can you tell me a little bit about what a bond book is and how this process goes from here?
Oh, what an awesome question, Skylar, and I thank you for it. Just quick reminder, in the budget process last year, the city council authorized us to go to the voters on April 7th of 2026 for our next bond package to continue to ask voters for the projects we need to maintain a great quality of life. Well, that process requires a lot of effort leading up to that vote, which consists of really two things: gathering information from the citizens on what projects they would like to see in the package, and then getting estimates for those projects. And so we hired a consultant to help us put together a bond program. And this bond book has all of the projects that we have gathered from the citizen surveys, input from the community groups, citizens, department directors, my office, and the council, and it's got estimates with it. And so it was given to the council members earlier this month for them to look at in anticipation of the meetings we're going to be having in June, for them to review all of the proposed requests from every single user group, citizen in the city.
So is it possible to get a couple of examples, or is it too soon for that? When will people start to see what might be in there?
Well, actually, there is a copy of the book in the city clerk's office. It's a very large book. It's about 260 pages, and it includes a narrative and some pictures on every single project that will be considered. And right now, there's just over 300 projects that have reached the point that will go to the city council. Ultimately, the council will decide, and that's going to be based on the amount of money that we can go to the voters next year, as long as it's a no change in the tax rate. And so that book's available. We're going to be having a series of public meetings in August and September, where we're actually going to have stations with all the different propositions, from street improvements, public safety, parks, city facilities, where folks can come out and give their opinions on the projects to be considered, and then council will make the final decision. But the book, it is chock full of great information about the estimates. It is the parameters of the scope. There's even pictures of the roads where there's a road widening. So you've got everything from road widenings. There's like 71 road widening projects in there. There are a number of city facilities that are being considered. And so I'm excited about this document because it's going to be something that is very transparent in our ongoing effort to try to select the best projects for our community.
Well, we will come back to that in those when those meetings begin and get a little closer to the process there.
Thank you.
It's Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon and the BA Breakdown here on the KRMG Afternoon News. And you and I also talked about something a long time ago that I want to just kind of check in on, and that is, in fact, I think we were talking in the Rose District at the time, but
yes.
Other cities, and what I think I've seen happening is other cities around here have looked to Broken Arrow and the success of revitalizing a main street and building what has basically become a model in the Rose District for a successful town, successful, hub in town. What's next? We've talked about that before. How do you continue on the success of the Rose District? But I wondered if there's any development in that. Is that something you regularly think about? I would imagine that you can't just go, okay, well, that's good, and then forget about it forever. Is it an ongoing process that you look at?
Absolutely. I look at the city when it comes to economic development as a wheel with a hub in the Rose District or the downtown. In this case, our award-winning Rose District is that hub. And so I think we have a responsibility to constantly be thinking about how we can make sure that we take care of the hub, because if you don't take care of the hub, it's going to be hard to take care of the rest of the wheel. And so the answer to your question is absolutely. In fact, as a part of my budget proposal, I'm going to be asking the council members to started an initiative next year to look at updating the downtown master plan, because the Rose District is about 13 or 14 years old, Skylar, which means the planning for it started well before that. And so we've had some tremendous success here. There's some other opportunities that I think it actually help continue to grow in the Rose District with regard to retail, commercial, office, additional housing. And I want to make sure we have a solid plan. And so I think the council members will be supportive of kicking off that initiative early next year with citizen businesses, where we can actually look at our successes, look at the opportunities, and probably most importantly is we can start to look at the South Main from Houston to Washington, where we're starting to see similar interest that as we had in the main area of downtown in the south part. And so I think it's one of my number one responsibilities when it comes to economic development. And we have a great team, and I'd love to talk to you about this some more. And actually, when we get into this process later this year, because it is going to be so cool to look at the successes. Rose District Plaza, the grain tower. How do we make that more viable to continue to be a placemaking area where people come to actually gather, so we maintain that small town feel?
Yeah, in fact, you answered my question there. My next was going to be, which side of the Rose District do you think is next? You said Houston to Washington, or 81st and 91st, but I also see housing going up further north toward Kenosha, some more of those row homes. So do you think housing will continue to be more of a popular thing than it has been there? I know it's obviously there's hold houses, but I mean new places to live there.
I absolutely do. And from my perspective, I think it's a lot like a micro version of Midtown Tulsa, which is an amazing area where you have some older homes that have been renovated and very done a great job the owners have in the upkeep. And then you've seen some new homes built within the existing homes. And that's exactly what's happening here in the Rose District. I believe it's safe to say that we've had about 300 new homes built in the last 10 years from amongst the existing homes. And I see that opportunity continue. I mean, we've created some zoning opportunities to help those with the development. We're also looking at where we need to upgrade the streets, sanitary sewer, stormwater to make it viable. And you're starting to see some of that same type of infill south of Houston, down around your area. And I think that's going to continue to happen. So we want to continue to create the density to support the businesses that are down here. Density being defined as whether you work here or you live down here. And I think it's all happening. It was done by a very detailed plan of a lot of great citizens back in the day. And we just want to continue that to make sure this continues to be a viable place for not only our residents, but for people to come, whether you're coming east or coming west. We want you to put Broken Arrow on your rotation of where you go to eat, shop, or actually have entertainment.
BA City Manager Michael Spurgeon here on the BA Breakdown. We do it every Tuesday just after 5, and we're out of time for today, sir, but we'll do it again next week. Good to talk to you.
Thank you, sir. Look forward to it. Have a great week.